Holiday jobs. In the 1960s, there seemed to be no problem for students to access paid employment in the holidays. My first job was in 1961, working for Royal Mail in Barking. A 4-mile bike ride on icy roads at 5:30 in the morning. But to compensate, the bar was open and I breakfasted on Guinness and 2 giant arrowroot biscuits. I was half of a team of 2 walking into sub-post offices, there were a lot at that time, and staggering out with sackfuls of parcels and packets. The van was hired by the post office, an ice cream van with the fridge removed, driven by the ice cream man with a giant loudspeaker on the top. We did 4 or 5 tours a day, and there was so much downtime that at the end of the day I'd had enough sleep to enable me to sign on for night sorting. Just as well really, as the pay was quite low for under 18s, 2 shillings and 7/8 of a penny per hour, equivalent to 11p in new money. I'd had to sign a contract acknowledging that interfering with the Queen's mail was a treasonable offence. But while I was sorting, I came across a piece of mail I just could not resist. After a quick look round, I stuffed the letter in my inside pocket and carried on sorting. At the end of every term at school, we had to write our address on a brown manila envelope, which we handed back to the secretary, who inserted our school report therein, stamped and posted it. This was the letter I had secreted in my jacket pocket. My handwriting was, and still is, atrocious, but easily recognised. At home, with no one around, I steamed open the envelope and looked at my report. The first thing that hit me was a new category on the report: days absent. 11. As I hadn't had any days off officially, I thought that my parents might be a little upset to read this. So to lessen their anguish, by dint of a single stroke of my pen, which was almost the same colour as the ink on the report, I changed 11 to 4. I put the report back, glued down the flap, and tried to diminish the crinkles that appeared on the envelope. On being challenged as to why it appeared to have missed 4 days at school, I told my parents that a day actually meant a morning or afternoon session, so that was really 2 days, not 4. In addition, I explained, if you were late, you were marked as absent for the whole day. So because of a bad bus service, I had 4 days of apparent absence, just for being a few minutes late on 2 occasions. I'd come 17th in class, but tried, not totally successfully, to erase the 1 from the 17 to improve my overall position. My mate Ken was not so lucky. He did not work at the post office, and he took 33 days off school that term. Barclays Bank offered pupils in the 6th form vacation employment, hoping to cement links which might encourage them to join the bank on completion of their studies. One summer, I joined the staff at the Gants Hill branch. They could afford to pay us £11 5 shillings a week. I remember having to send out people's personal statements. In those days, all the signed cheques went back to the account holder to prove their outgoings. I had a phone call from a Mr. C. Smith, no, I don't think it was Cyril, to say he had received a statement for a Mr. C. Smith, but it was not his account. Oh dear, I empathised. Don't worry, I'll send you your own statement shortly. I should have stopped there, because when I said, I suppose the other Mr. C. Smith must have got your statement then, the Mr. Smith I was talking to became less calm and polite and demanded to speak to the manager. He never got his statement. He cancelled his account there and then. At lunchtimes, I had to man the switchboard. On one occasion, a customer asked to speak to the manager. I put him on hold and got through to Mr. Bongard, the manager, who gave me several emphatic reasons why he did not want to speak to the caller. Or had I put him on hold? Apparently not. Another customer lost. Barclays Bank and my links were not cemented. Not only were my dreams of making it big in the banking world shattered, my stay at the bank was abbreviated by 4 weeks. Desperate for enough work to pay for my upcoming camping holiday, I applied to the Ferguson record player factory in Hainault for a job on the production line. It was quite simple. All I had to do was to screw 18 studs through pre-made holes to secure the backing to the player with an air-powered screwdriver. It seemed straightforward enough. It wasn't. I had to hold all 18 screws in my left hand, stick one of them through the pre-made holes, screw it in firmly, then continue with the next 17. What could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a lot as it transpired. Firstly, I often dropped a stud, then sometimes the stud would go in at the wrong angle, and sometimes I almost screwed part of my finger into the machine. Unfortunately, on a production line, unlike in a post office or a bank, time is important. If one employee on the line is slow, productivity goes down. Productivity went down. The players were all sitting on wooden pallets. The pallets came inexorably down the line, and there was about 20 inches between each pallet. At first, it wasn't much of a problem. I could just push the oncoming pallet back an inch or two to make up the time. And the next. And the next. Inevitably, the pallets started stacking up. I developed strategies. Surely 17 studs would be enough, or 14, or 9. Ultimately, the pallets completely jammed the line, a siren wailed, and everything juddered to a halt, with about 140 record players needing urgent attention. HR was very understanding and found me a different task. I had to lift the finished machine about 12 inches above the pallet, then drop it. If it rattled, I had to put it on a branch line where the fault finder could examine it. I was relieved to find that I could do this in a timely fashion. That is, until my back gave out. HR was very understanding. I went to the end of the line where I had a duster and polish, rubbing the finger marks of the workers off the players. I had found my niche, and 3.5 weeks later was enjoying all there was to enjoy, camping near the beaches of Bayonne.